What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror. I am Ken Sledge, and joining me today is the beautiful and talented Nika Comet. Nika, how are you doing?
I'm good. Hello, everybody. Hey, Ken. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. If you guys don't know Chase the Comet, her band, their newest album, Out of the Matrix, is available now. You may already know them from their songs Gone, Rage Inside, or my personal favorite, What's Wrong With Us. Before we actually started doing this, I was telling Nika, if you guys have not heard What's Wrong With Us by Chase the Comet, that song has the perfect social commentary for what's going on in the world, and it's a beautiful song. So thank you so much, Nika, for that.
You're very welcome. I'm super glad you like it, because I would expect you to like more like rock stuff, like heavy stuff. And this really warms my heart that you like this song for its meaning.
Oh, it's amazing. But to be honest with you, I love that whole album. Actually, I think Please Forgive Me, track 3 is Please Forgive Me, right?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful song.
This warms my heart.
No, it's so good. Like I said, I was showing your stuff off at work today. I want to get your name out there too, because Alex, man, he's such a great guitar player. So
he's a great everything, because he does everything.
well, I appreciate, tell him that I said he's amazing, and hopefully at some point we can get you guys over here to Michigan to play. And I promise you,
we weren't supposed to come to Michigan this summer, but unfortunately, you know why?
Yep.
All dates got canceled, and we have not rescheduled yet, because, every state situation is different. So
Sure.
Here in California, everybody's been pretty chill. But I don't know what's going to happen in the next month, and
Right.
that's why we all should just hang in there, watch some movies, listen to some music.
So that's what was my next question before we get started with everything. How's everything going for you guys in quarantine? Anything new on the music front, or?
Of course, yeah. We've been super productive lately. We wrote a few songs, of course, inspired, by the vibe, and
Sure.
we're keeping them to ourselves for now, because
Sure.
we have some plans. We have a few labels interested in working with us, and before that happens, before we can, take it all to the next step, we should solve some document questions, some visa questions for us, and because we're from Russia.
Yep.
I don't know if you know, I'm from Russia, and Alex is from Russia, so we have to make sure everything is legit.
Yeah.
And that's why for now we write new songs, we record them. We have 2 new songs recorded and fully mixed by a very, very cool guy who mixes metal, who works with labels, and he's just an amazing mixing engineer. And this stuff is heavy, dude. This stuff is fucking heavy.
That's awesome, because I was actually going to bring that up too. Like, the good thing about your band is you're kind of genre bending, because I couldn't tell anybody, oh, they're a pop band, or oh, they're, a alternative band. You guys definitely take that blend and you mix it together so well that it's almost like I'm listening to a mixtape when I'm listening to your record.
Yeah, well, back in the day, we would think it's our great disadvantage. But lately, we meet more and more people who say, listen, this is very, very unique.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's your special feature. And it's very cool that you never know what to expect. You start playing a song and you're like, oh, wow. I haven't heard this. I haven't expected it. And what we say is that we create soundtrack for life, because it's not always you want to rock hard and just, I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and I said, listen, I understand we all want to be in a good mood, but at the same time, there's times when we're sad, when we don't want anything pumping. Exactly. Right.
I get it.
And then there's moments when we want something very smooth, when we're about to go to bed, or when we want to just be stupid and hang and dance to some pop song.
Yeah.
We have all of that, and I guess we've never been able to keep it in, and at some point we just said, you know what, whatever, fuck it. People listen to the music on shuffle, and so
Honestly, that's what I
we'll
love
just
about
do
your.
what we feel like doing,
Yeah.
and then we'll just let people judge, and if they like it, they will stick around. If they don't, then whatever.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what I love about what I've listened to you guys, especially this newer record, Out of the Matrix. There's not one song on this record that sounds the same. And
Think
even
so?
bands that I absolutely love, sometimes they do get that formulaic, vibe to them, and you can kind of, okay, well, you could tell these songs are all off the same record. You don't get
Yeah,
that with this
yeah.
record. You could conceivably call this a greatest hits, and I'd believe it because it sounds like, and I'm not talking like every song is one of your greatest hits. I just mean that by time, it sounds like one song could have been released 15 years ago, the next one 8 years ago, because the vibe to each song is so different, and I absolutely adore that about that record. So, it's on iTunes, guys. It's on Google Play. It's Out of the Matrix by Chase the Comet. So make sure you're checking that out. And check out the music video for Rage Inside. That is such a fun video.
Thank you. Yeah, well, we've got a lot of stuff. You can also just go to our website, chasethecomet.com, and that's where you can stream our album for free, because, music is free nowadays.
Yeah.
And watch all those fun videos. The music video for What's Wrong With Us is pretty on point as well, if you've seen that.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, but really, really appreciate you bringing that up, and thanks for all the good words.
No problem. And just so everybody knows, this is all news to me and her. She doesn't know the question. We wanted to keep it kind of organic on this one. I don't know what her first horror movie she watched was. She doesn't know the questions I'm going to be asking her. So I'm actually really excited and nervous about this. So let's get into it. What was the first horror movie that you ever watched?
Okay, so I kind of tried to think what I can say about horror movies in general, because I know that's your passion and that's what you're doing. And honestly, don't get me wrong, but I'm not a fan of horror movies.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. First of all, because I'm trying to be a very positive person.
Sure.
Because when I go in those, deep depressive moods, it's just very hard to get myself out, and I just get very bad in those moods, right?
Okay.
And when I was a kid, my mom would never allow me to watch scary movies, because afterwards I would have nightmares, and that would mean I would wake her up in the middle of the night, or even, come to her and say, can I sleep here? And that's why horror movies were never welcome in my family home. And so I started growing up, and I guess, I started seeing something on TV, and I guess the first creepy thing that I saw, like the creepiest thing ever, was the Tales from the Crypt.
Nice.
And also, I don't even remember what it is about. I just remember that scary skeleton talking out of his coffin. And that was like, wow. I mean, I could kind of understand it was made with humor as a kid. But at the same time, it was still kind of scary for, a rainbow and cupcakes girl.
and even now, like when I hear that opening theme to Tales from the Crypt, I still get those goosebumps, because I know that laugh is coming at the end of the theme song.
Well, see, I don't really remember the details that good, because I was only watching it when nobody was around. Like, if my mom would find out, that would be a problem. The other thing was, and that was not a horror movie. I think that was kind of like, those creepy tales that old teens love. And it was called Are You Afraid of Darkness? Or like Tales from the Dark, something like that.
Yeah, they had Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah. So that thing, and at that point, I think I was like around 12, so I was really into that stuff, because as a teen, you start exploring different emotions and different sides of life. And of course you're fucking interested, you know, like who disappeared and when, and like, oh, he was murdered and like all
Yeah.
that stuff. And I guess, yeah, I was really, really into that thing. And then I guess the first real horror movie that I watched, like from the beginning to the end, which I remember, I was 14. I was in love with my best friend. And he said, oh, let's go to the movie theater. And I'm like, oh my God, he's asking me out. And so we went to that. And then he said, okay, well, probably you're not going to like this, but I think we're going to go and see this new horror movie that just came out. And it was called The Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, nice.
And so we went there, and the only comforting thing for me was that I actually went on a date with my best friend. And I mean, it was kind of cool because we were watching a horror movie. So I really had justification to, like, you
grab
know, like
him and hold him.
Grab him, yeah.
That is so awesome. So
yeah. And I'll tell you honestly, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Because it was super new and I didn't really see anything like that before. And I mean, I had like a whole scale of emotions. And of course I'm pretty sure I had a few nightmares afterwards.
Right.
But I genuinely enjoyed the plot and everything. It's just, I guess sometime later I just figured it's not my type of dope. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, and I get that, but one thing when you talk about Dawn of the Dead, I think that was one of my favorite zombie movies when it came to the zombies, because they weren't just your boring walking zombies. Like, they were scary. Like, these zombies were terrifying.
Yeah. Remember that moment when they were all on the rooftop?
Oh yeah.
And they couldn't get out? And there were some other, if I'm not mistaken, there were some other people on the other building or something. And like that kind of feeling of, you know, being locked out, not being able to go outside. And they were just like patrolling the streets and all that.
The fact that they were communicating with the people on the other building.
That's right. Yeah.
And that feeling of, like you said, that feeling of entrapment almost. Like, what am I going to do? I'm on top of a roof on a wall with people I don't know. Where do I go from here?
Yeah, and then the baby.
Yes.
The baby thing got me. It was like so damn creepy.
I was just going to ask you what the scariest / creepiest scene was, and I was wondering if that's the direction you were going to go.
Yeah, that was it. But I don't have babies, but at that point I just remember how strong it was, how strong the whole impression. Okay, imagine a person who has never really watched scary movies. I had a classmate who was a huge fan of Freddy Krueger.
Okay.
And well, of course my mom would never ever let me watch that. So all the information I was able to get was from my classmate, and I was sharing a desk with him because in Russia we have double desks.
Okay.
And I kind of liked him too, but he was scaring me because during classes he would draw Freddy Krueger, and then he would move that piece of paper to me, and he would say he would come to you at night, and I'm like, oh shit.
That's quite the odd way of flirting. That sounds like how I would have flirted in school. Hey, look at this scary guy. It'll make me look better.
Yeah, I guess his deeper thought was that, like, I'm not scared of this guy, and like I'm a fan, you know.
Right.
But I was, of course, I thought that was kind of weird because he would draw these, you know, horror fanfics all the time. And at some point I just went to the teacher and I said, you know what? I don't like this guy anymore. Like, can I sit with somebody nicer?
Oh, man. Poor guy. Hopefully he's not watching this. Sorry, buddy, if you are. Stop drawing
if he is,
girls.
most supposedly he's not going to understand anything in English because he was pretty bad in English.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I'm not going to apologize to him too much then. So with Dawn of the Dead, is that a movie that you watched more than once, or was going with him the only time you ever watched it?
I probably saw it a few times on TV later. and I would recognize it, but I've never rewatched it from the top again.
Right.
I guess it's just um, I'm just a very easily impressed person,
Okay.
and I take everything too deep. I guess it's kind of like of an artist nature, if I can
Yeah.
say that. And especially growing up and being, spending a lot of time with animals. Like I see a hurt cat and I cry, and it's
Okay.
just, I guess, seeing people dying even on screen, even knowing it's not real, it just brings up thoughts to me like, why wouldn't I watch an animated movie like a Disney movie instead? Because that would bring me in a better mood
Joy.
rather than just being scared. And that's actually that's what I wanted to ask you as a horror movie fan.
Okay.
Like, what makes you come back? What makes you a fan of this? Because you definitely should have some tough nervous system out
Yeah.
there.
I actually think what it is when I was young and the first horror movie I watched, I hate this comparison, but it's the only thing I can think. I compare it to drugs. Like you get that first high and then you're always chasing that again. And I think it's kind of like that. Like you get that first scare, of a movie. And so I've always just been chasing that. And I love, which is funny because people that know me know when it comes to movies, I'm brave. I love scary movies. The scarier, the better. But like, I can't do like haunted houses or anything like that. Like I'm such a wuss when it comes to
Oh,
like,
really?
oh, I can't do it. Like I don't, maybe it's because of my germophobia as well. I don't like people touching me. Like it really freaks me out. So maybe that has part of it too. People jumping out at me and then, like I don't like that. I think that's scarier to me than any movie. But
Huh.
my wife, she loves haunted houses. Like every year. Finally, my son's 12, so I was like, you know what? Take him. He'll go with you this year, and I'll stay home with the girls. But
Nice.
I think for me, I love the feeling of being scared, and I like being. The first date me and my wife went on. We've been together 15 years, and our first date was to go see War of the Worlds. So I kind of did the same thing your guy did. I was like, I'll take her to a scary movie and make her hold me the whole time, so I can protect her. You know. So I kind of like that too. Watching me and my wife, we watch horror movies together all the time, and it's something that we just we'll cuddle up on the couch and we'll watch a movie, and she'll get scared and hold on to me, and I'll feel brave again.
And how do you guys sleep
Yeah,
afterwards?
I know I think I don't want to say you get numb to it, but it's funny because the last movie I had a nightmare about, which funny enough, is not even really that much of a horror movie, but Shaun of the Dead, like that movie gave me really bad nightmares. I don't know why, and again, it's not a terribly scary movie. It's more of a comedy horror, but there's a certain scene in that movie where there's this bigger guy and they're trying to throw things at it to kill him. And it's kind of realistic because they can't hit him with anything. I don't know if you've ever seen Shaun of the Dead or not.
No.
But it's so good. You should check it out. It's got horror elements, but there's a lot of comedy to it as well. But we that movie it gave me nightmares, and it's one of those things where I woke up like, oh my god, I just had a nightmare about zombies. Like I haven't had that in a long time, and it was kind of refreshing, I guess, to know that I could still have a nightmare about something like that.
Well, I was gonna ask if that helps you anyhow to deal with, with like life situations. If it makes your nervous system stronger
No,
anyhow.
I have the worst anxiety in the whole world. Like
Think about that.
yeah,
Think
right.
about that.
Yeah, I guess this has become like a therapy session now. Like now the pieces are starting to unravel for me now.
Because I'm actually I'm working on the anti-anxiety and anti-panic course, a video course, because I felt like there's so many people having these problems nowadays, especially after the COVID. And
Sure.
I'll tell you honestly, my panic attacks in the first few weeks, dude, whoo,
Uh,
that was something very crazy. Because my worst fear is to get sick. And
yeah.
like I'm a hypochondriac, and sometimes it gets pretty bad. But I do things to to fight it.
Mm-hmm.
I meditate and all that, and so I decided to share with people, and so I have like a little testing group And there's also some people who are fans of horror movies and they have bad anxiety. And I'm like, okay, I want to check with them. I want to see how it works.
Yeah.
But in fact, I think it has some connections.
Oh, I think it does. But it's one of those things where, like, I don't get the anxiety when I'm watching the movies. Like, I love watching horror movies afterwards, and in real life situations. Like, I'm cool on Zoom and like with people I know I'm cool, but I'm also kind of, over the top a lot. Like I'm always the center of attention type of guy. So maybe it's all connected in some. I think everything's connected in some way. I think we're all connected in some way. But horror movies and anxiety, I absolutely think there's a connection there.
But it's also I totally get the like drug thing, the drug comparison that you did.
Yeah.
It's like adrenaline junkies.
Mm-hmm.
And it was super weird recently because I hate being nervous about something, but at the same time, I've been working so hard to overcome this.
Yeah.
And recently we had, what was it? I don't remember, but there was some reason for me to like panic and be anxious. It was during the looting and riots and everything, because it was literally 5 minutes from us. And the police and the helicopters and everything was just going on right over our house here. And they were flying to downtown LA, because we live almost in downtown LA.
Okay.
And I felt this, this feeling inside, this heartbeat goes up and you're like, oh my God. And you start feeling tense. And then I calmed myself down. And then I caught that I was enjoying the ability to control this, that I was not letting myself to get too much into it. And that I was forcefully relaxing my body. I was like, okay, breathe.
Yeah.
Relax, and I caught it. And then I was like, wow, that's really, now I understand how people get addicted. Sometimes it's not that you're addicted to the first, step of it, of just being, physically addicted, but you're enjoying the ability to actually control it.
Yes. That power, the power that comes from that, from being able to control it, is such an amazing thing.
Yeah. I guess I started feeling it recently. I was not able to hold it together yesterday though, because we went to we did like a mile hike.
Okay.
In the mountains, and then there were 2 potholes, like a waterfall, like a pothole with water, and you could swim in there. And then there was a ladder right on the cliff, and so we went up. And there was another pothole. But the thing is that you could either jump to it and jump out of it from the cliff, and it was super, super high. Like, probably the first jump would be maybe like 12 feet. And the second jump would be like 15 or 16 feet. It was really high.
Sure.
And then so we decided not to jump. I told Alex, you know what? We're not going to do this. We don't have insurance. We have stuff to do. It's our first time here. Let's just get in there. And there was a waterfall and a rope. So you could hold a rope and like literally climb down by that rope into that pothole. And then I did it and I slipped and I fell down because it was a waterfall and it was still pretty high. Yeah. And I got so scared that I wouldn't be able to get out. And the only way was either jump down 16 feet or climb up the rope through the waterfall again. And I freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, I started crying. Like I literally like started hysterical.
Yeah.
I started being hysterical. And then Alex tried to do this. He tried to climb up and he slipped and fell down. And then I looked at his face and he's like, and I already see that he's imagining what we're going to do if I can't climb out. Eventually I was able to climb out. My arms they're just so sore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But anyway, like it's, it's still something that I have to work on.
What?
But
And then
Yeah.
the thing is, like, you almost get, once you're done and you're out of that situation and that adrenaline's coming back down and you're starting to get that, I got to sit down for a little bit feeling.
Yeah.
Like once you know you're okay, it seems a little bit better even.
Yeah, I guess so. But back to horror movies, I think the one that really stood out for me too was the Japanese Ring.
Okay. Yeah. Ringu.
I don't know. It was the Ring, but it came out not the first one,
Yeah.
but maybe the Ring 2, the one about Japan.
Yep. Oh, The Grudge.
I don't know, because I watched it in Russian, so I'm not really sure.
That's fine. Was it the one where they were making all the crazy noises? That one?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that totally creeped me out. Anything with little kids where they get contorted and make weird noises, I'm out. I can't. That scares me pretty bad.
So the special thing for me about that one was that so I was in my first year in university.
Okay.
And the movie tickets were super cheap in the morning, 9:30 weekday. Well, obviously we had to skip school. Classic. So
Yeah.
my friend and I had a really, 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 really good puff of hash, because in Russia they don't really have weed. I mean,
Yeah.
they do, but it's expensive. It's hard to transport. So in Russia, everybody smokes hash.
Okay.
And so I was like, what, 18? So we smoked hash really good. Then we walked to the movie theater, took some drinks, whatever. And then we went to watch that thing.
Oh man, that's definitely not a movie you want to watch after you've been drinking and smoking.
Surprisingly, we had so much fun. Dude, I'm telling you, we were laughing our asses off. And there were a few people over there too, and I guess they were like school kids.
Yeah.
And obviously they were scared. But my friend and I were on the first row, and we were just watching that shit. And like the moment she appears, or like that, and we just laughed. I don't know how we managed to do it. It was scary, but at the same time, it was so funny. Oh my God. But then, when it covered me? On my way back home.
Oh.
I was in the metro alone, and then like people were watching me, and then I freaked out. I was like, oh my God.
Well, because you're coming down on top of that. So you're coming down, and now everything's sinking in from the movie. And you got all these people staring at you, and you're just like, all this stuff coming together all at one point while you're on the metro, nonetheless, by yourself, no one to confide in.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was horrible. That was horrible. But during the movie, like, I had fun,
Which is funny, because I wonder if you watched that movie now, do you think that it would be more scary, or it would be more nostalgic feeling from what, taking you back to that moment where you and your friend are high watching this movie? Do you think that you would still feel that fear, or do you think you'd feel more of a nostalgia type feeling for that?
I don't know. I think with Alex and me creating a lot of video content lately,
Mm-hmm.
And we got really good in production, and we know how it's most of it, how it's made, and we even did one of our music videos. We did the makeup, which is considered special effects makeup. It's not scary makeup, but we got old, like 90 years old.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So we have a deeper look into this whole industry, and I guess that's our way of keeping our nerves safe, because we look at it from the point of view of how it was created, and that, of course, makes it a masterpiece. Like if you look at one zombie who just appears in a short scene, and then you think how much time the guy spent in the makeup artist chair just to get that done, which, is like 3-4 hours for special effects makeup. You just understand how much effort people put into this, and you become more curious.
See, and I'm glad you bring that up, because a lot of people look at a horror movie and they look at it as just, oh, it's a cheap scare. But like, there's a lot, especially when you look at movies like Dawn of the Dead, where you have up to, 2, 3, 400 zombies walking around in a street at once when they do wide angle shots. All the
Yeah.
work that went into this maybe 15-second clip, all the
Right.
work that went into making it what it is for you, you get a deeper I went to when I was in Votech, when I was in high school, I did an audio video class, and I gained so much respect for filmmakers, not just because of like special effects and all that, but continuity, making sure that everything makes sense, stuff doesn't change in between shots. You gain such a huge respect, and it's good to hear that from you too. The appreciation that you have of this stuff. That's really awesome. Because like you said, I know you said you're not a huge fan of horror movies, but you can put that into any genre, really. The action, adventure, drama. There's a lot of work that goes into making a film that a lot of people kind of take for granted. And now that we're going through this COVID thing and things are kind of shut down, you realize how many people that were working behind the scenes are struggling right now. And it's a terrible thing.
Yeah, it's true. But honestly, I'll tell you this, I guess, and Alex would confirm that, I'm just very picky when I'm choosing what to watch, because I'm
Okay.
very, very careful about my time and what I spend it on. And that's why, for example, it's really hard to pitch a new series to me, because I know I get into it, with all my mind, and I'm not done until I'm done.
Sure, sure.
And that's very, very scary, especially if you got stuff to do.
Right. Right.
So that's why I guess I'm just mostly watching animated movies. I love kids stuff, and you can see I have my Disney princess castle behind me. And I don't. My mommy would probably be very disappointed with me, but I hate serious movies. I don't like, because I think about much stuff already,
Right.
and I don't need to watch a movie about, animal abuse to understand how people abuse animals. I'm just a different type of person. Or I don't really, love the drama movies. Like, this is just not for me. I hate drama. I'm doing my best to not have it in my life.
Sure.
And that's why even when Alex says, "Oh, it's such a great movie, great actors," I'm like, I believe you, but I don't need to watch it. Seriously. Or like The Green Mile, or The Green Mile, the movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's classic. Or The Schindler's List, it's classic. But I don't want to watch it.
Sure. See, I've seen both those movies, but those are movies that I only watched once. I wanted to watch them.
They're fantastic. They're fantastic. They're incredible, and they're just beyond words. But I don't need this emotion. Seriously, like, if I get into a crying mess, and it will hold me for weeks.
See, I take it you've never seen Sophie's Choice. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, it's hands down. I talk about it a lot. When people bring up what's the saddest movie, Sophie's Choice is the worst. It's about the Holocaust, and this mom's in a concentration camp, and she has to choose which one of her kids she wants to give away to be killed, and then she has to keep the other one, and the whole movie's about the choice that she made and how she lives with it. If somebody ever pitches you Sophie's Choice, just remember your bubbly personality, and I don't want to see that sparkle leave your eye. So no on Sophie's Choice if that ever comes up for you.
No, yeah, totally. I watched a few movies, and honestly, that's why I came to where I am right now. When I was probably like 9 or 10 years old, our history teacher, because the World War II and all the consequences just had a great impact on Russia. And celebrating victory over the Nazis is the biggest national holiday in Russia. It's, just too many people, almost 30 million people died in that war, and in every family. And of course, we all take it very seriously. So our history teacher took my whole class to the movie theater to watch that one movie. Most supposedly you don't know it. It's in Russian. It's called Idi Smatri, Go and Watch. And it's about the partisan movement.
Okay.
Partisan, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. The partisan.
Yeah. So it's about the partisan movement in Belarus during the occupation time. And there's one moment when a young boy comes back home because he was living in a forest as part of the partisan movement. And he comes back home to check on his mother and sister. And the Nazis made a soup with them. And that moment when he opens that jar and I just remember like I felt sick. I was about to throw up and all that. And this is how I came to a realization, I want to keep myself safe.
Sure. Well,
like mentally. I know horrible things happen. I know there is people who need to see this. But it's just so different for everybody. Some people need to see this to understand some things about life, about the war, for example, and that would make them change into a better person. But for me personally, I don't want to say I'm already a better person, but my point is I'm too sensitive, and probably I pity myself with this.
That brings you down where it could build other people up to make them respect it more. It brings you to, and especially something like that, because that stuff really happened. And like you said, in your home country where you have a lot of pride in something like that, to watch that happen breaks your heart even more, because this isn't
and this is something you can't change, right? This is something that has happened, and you can't change anything. You just have to, like, people would ask, like, what, doesn't it give you any? Yes, it gives me thoughts, like, how bad people can be, and I don't want to think about that. I don't want to have this thought. I don't want to doubt the goodness in people.
Right. And to me, honestly, movies like that are more horrifying than your Freddy Kruegers, because Freddy Krueger is the monster under your bed, but those are the real life monsters, the Nazis and the white supremacists, and even the stuff we got going on here right now, here in the United States with, the Black Lives Matter movement, which is so important in our history right now. We're going to be talking about this, I think, when my grandkids are around, how important of a movement we had now to try to make sure equality is what it is. It's scary knowing I have kids growing up in this, and, I don't have to worry about the things that I read this article about, a black mother talking about how she gets scared because her son goes to the gas station and how's he going to be treated there, or what's going to happen. I don't worry about that, but I worry about my families that have to go through that, and the families here that do go through that stuff. And to me, that stuff is more scary. Sometimes I watch horror movies to escape the horrors of real life. Because what we have going on right now is so scary. And you talk about like the Holocaust, like that stuff is so terrifying. That to me, honestly, is the scariest type of movie. The real life monsters that are out there that caused all this pain and torture in our people, like that's such a terrible thing. And I get where you're coming from on that, the anxiety you feel, because that maybe that did happen. Maybe some boy did come home and find his family like that. And that's terribly heartbreaking, and to watch it at a young age, that's like mind altering.
That makes you a certain person, A few years later, being drunk in the pub and some guy saying something like, "Oh, I don't like these guys because they're a different nationality." Me, no, thank you.
yeah, and that's it's terrible that still goes on to this day. Like, we like to think that we've progressed and we've gotten better, but the story you just told probably happens 1,000 times a night.
Yeah, and in different countries, I should say. It's not, because I come from a country where we don't have a lot of African American people, but we have, for example, Caucasian people who are just different, by nationality. And I'm half Tatar. I'm not like fully Russian. I'm like 1/4 Georgian. But there's still these the racism based on differences, which is, I guess, always going to take place in all countries of the world, because this is how people get divided. The thin people are against, big people. The short people are against tall people. It's all about, and like the Christians are against Muslims.
Yeah.
It's all about being divided.
I'm right, you're wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. And of course it sucks from any point of view, and I hope, the humanity will get better in at least a few hundreds years from now, because I don't know, it's tough. But let's not get
so real quick, before we end this, I do want to ask you. I asked you about your first horror movie.
Yeah.
Now, out of horror, what do you think is your favorite movie of all time?
I don't know. That's tough. I guess I don't have a big enough library to make sure. I don't know. Does the I guess the ones that I watched are all kind of good. And recently, I don't know if that's considered horror. We watched The Shining.
Mm-hmm. Stephen King.
Yeah, and then we watched Doctor Sleep with Ewan McGregor.
Love Doctor Sleep. I love.
Oh yes.
The kid scene with the that was hard to watch, but such a good movie.
Yeah. I loved Doctor Sleep more from the point of view of the plot, I guess, and the screenplay. But I should admit, for me, it was hard to look off of The Shining.
Yeah.
It was, and I understand why it is so iconic.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt bad. It was, of course, it was Alex's idea. He's like, okay, this is classic. We got to watch it. And Alex is also a lot into movie music.
Okay.
And this is a whole different genre, and creating the soundtrack for horror movies is just is a very hard job, because I guess 80% of the success depends on the sound effects.
Well, look at the Halloween series. When you think of Halloween, you think of that piano, the da 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 da. You know, that one lick of music can completely change the whole layout of a film.
Yeah.
So I respect him for that, because as a musician too, he's obviously going into it looking and listening to the music and how that heightens his senses a little bit, being a musician. So much respect for that too, because I love the fact that you guys dig deeper. You know, you appreciate the makeup effects. He appreciates the subtleties of the music and the cues that it can lead to. Like, that's so awesome, man, that you guys dig that deep. But okay, we're gonna end this now. I do want to say thank you so much, Nika. This has been amazing. Remember, guys, The Matrix, chasethecomet.com, right, Nika?
Yeah.
Yep. Go to chasethecomet.com, and it is free. Check it out. I promise you won't regret it. Watch some of the music videos. They put a lot of time and effort into these. I really, really love the Rage Inside video.
In Rage Inside, we even kill somebody.
Yes. So make sure you check these out. Again, this is Nika. And please, anytime you have any updates, share them with me, and I'll share them with the people here, because I would love to keep them updated. And if there's ever a time when this COVID's over, you're coming to Michigan, let me know. I'd love to take you and Alex out and get you guys some food, and maybe get you guys a beer or something. So it's been amazing for me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And,
likewise.
Keep me updated on everything, please, okay?
Okay, thank you. And I enjoyed it too.
Thank you.